Dr. Suresh Shan has joined us. Welcome, Dr. Shan.
Good evening, everyone. I'm audible?
Yes.
Thanks.
So we're just waiting for a few more attendees to join in, and we should be starting very soon. Yeah, I think we can go. Right, welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today's virtual roundtable. My name is Frazier Martins, and I'm your host for today. Amazon Web Services and Applied Cloud Computing, in association with Dun & Bradstreet, are pleased to host this virtual roundtable on smart communication, the next evolution through cloud computing. Before we begin, I request you to please go through the guidelines that have been displayed on your screens right now. We encourage you to ask more questions in the session. We request you to please type your queries in the Q&A section. These will be taken up in the Q&A session after the panel discussion. You can also use the chat section for sharing your views. A couple of tips though, we want to know you more, hence please mention your name and your company name when you post your question. You may also mention the name of the person you are directing your question to. As you can see on your screens, there is a chat section that will help you converse better with the speakers and moderator. And just to reiterate, please hold on to your questions till the audience interactive session commences. Now, let's take a quick look at the flow of today's session. And for that, please refer to the agenda displayed on your screen right now. A promising agenda with an eminent lineup of speakers. I would like to take this opportunity to welcome and thank everyone for being part of this virtual conference today. Let's kickstart then with the opening speaker of the day. I would like to invite Mr. Rohit Mason, Senior Business Development Manager, Applied Cloud Computing. Welcome, Mr. Mason, and over to you.
Thank you so much for buddy.
Yes, please go ahead.
Is my voice clear?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Good evening, everybody. Rohit Mason. I work as a business manager at Applied Cloud Computing. We are known as ACC, and we share our operations. We started our operations.
Sorry, Mr. Mason. Sorry, so sorry to interrupt. I guess we can't hear you. So sorry, we can't hear you.
Can you hear my voice clear now?
Much better, sir. Much better. Thank you so much.
All right, I'm sorry for that. So let me start. I work as a business development manager, senior business development manager at Applied Cloud Computing, and we are known as ACC. We started our operations in 2014 as an AWS partner and grew to become an advanced consulting partner. We are directly managed by AWS. Our businesses is focused on 5 different aspects: cloud engineering, digitalization, big data, product engineering, and security. In cloud engineering, we help our customers in their journey to AWS cloud. We help them with DevOps support and managing the cloud infra. In digitalization, we help our customers in modernizing their application on cloud, building cloud native applications using microservices architecture. We are the first ones to create a data lake in AWS for a bank and also worked on creating the same for a broking institution. Our product engineering team has worked on developing our own IPs, which cater to media as well as BFSI customers. Our product engineering team has developed an OTT platform as well, which helps customers to start an OTT channel within 8 weeks. We developed a solution for broking firms that reduced the entire operations of sending notification from 8 hours to about 10 minutes. And we would discuss the same as we proceed in our panel discussion. We also provide cloud security assessment and best practices to be followed for public cloud. Our strength is about 200 plus employees, and we aim to go 250 by the end of this year. Our domain, we focused on BFSI, media, fintech, and gaming. Thank you for the opportunity, everybody, to introduce ACC, and I would like to welcome all the panelists. Over to you, Fraser.
Thank you, Mr. Masson, for your opening remarks. With this, we're going to move on straight to the most awaited knowledge sharing and interactive session, the panel discussion. This discussion, as I said earlier, is around the topic, smart communication, the next evolution through cloud computing. Today's session is being moderated by Ms. Beros Kamden, partner Deloitte Haskins & Sells, LLP. Thank you, Ms. Kamden, for being a part of today's session. Welcome. Dr. Suresh Shan is our first panelist. He's Head Business Information Technology Solutions at Mahindra Finance. Thank you, Dr. Shan, for your time. We will also be joined by Mr. Abhinav Suresh Khare, Chief Digital Officer, Bajaj Capital, and Mr. Amit Saxena, Global Deputy CTO, State Bank of India. They will be joining us a little later in the session. Also on the panel is Mr. Mithun Kadam, Vice President, Digitalization, Applied Cloud Computing. Thank you, Mr. Kadam, for being with us today. Without further ado, I'm going to hand it over straight away to Ms. Kamden to start the panel discussion. Over to you, Ms. Kamden. Have a good one.
Thank you. Thank you, Fraser. And welcome to all participants. Very good evening. And welcome to our panelists who have joined us and who are on the way to join us now very shortly. Rohit, thanks for the introduction on ACC. Generally, we understand ACC as Associate Cement Company. So now we've got a new ACC also. And everything keeps changing in this new normal. So before we start with the topic on smart communications, if I can just ask something which comes to mind to all three of you all, as to when you hear the word smart notifications or smart communications, what is one word or one sentence which comes to mind? Dr. Suresh? You're mute. I think you're on mute. We can't hear you.
It's like we use it more in terms of e-business, less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. Like trying to express your emotions through technology and trying to get notified through the kind of growing kind of emotional conversations and communications.
Absolutely, absolutely. Rohit, would you like to add something here? What comes to mind when you think of smart communication?
With smart communication, I think being in this part of the world attached to technology, I would say digitalized or automated communications.
Absolutely, absolutely. And Mithun?
Yeah, ma'am. So when we say the smart notification system, in today's in this generation, we with the notification we can engage our customers. We can provide much better service with the notification service, right? We can convey our offers. We can provide so many information through the notification system. So this is a very important topic today. Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when something like smart notification came to I thought of connecting meaningfully in this new normal. So I think somewhere every organization tries to connect with its customers or user base more meaningfully than what it used to be doing earlier. So we are going to be discussing how you can utilize the smart communication solutions and how organizers are using it to, have a better user expectations and retention both, because you need to retain your clients, customers, and all of that, including all vendors and users. And how do you engage with them and how do you retain them? So when we see it, we actually live in a world now where we see that the customers have a lot of expectation from organizations. They expect that we should know what their needs are and what they are thinking about. From the very first thing, and just a little search, and they think that we should know what they are looking for. So, Dr. Suresh, what is the significance of re-engaging with customers to personalized communication? How do you believe it's significant? You're on mute. I think you're on mute.
It's a great question. Again, if you see from smart notifications, it's the next evolution of messaging. Like if you see the kind of transformation, what's happening is started from an ad hoc, which we call it as more to do with one-off emails, mails, or even phone calls. Then it got scheduled into the kind of materials which call newsletters, even catalogs or ads, which got even triggered into the events, which we got saying more of an automation, email marketing or email pull and push, and got into the real-time push where mobile apps and notifications were now transformed into a new normal, the way it is called smart notifications, where it's growing into number of device, media, formats, even level of personalization, volume, and level of intuitiness. So it's more to do with, like, that's what I started saying. In India, e-business is less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. That too timely, how you are getting engaged and how you are going to get the kind of information which is really expected. Beyond the technology challenges, how we can get more in terms of creating the personalization in terms of information, engaging with the customers, it matters a lot at the end of the day.
I completely agree. So when I was seeing a particular e-commerce platform, and my son keeps purchasing t-shirts on that platform or clothes on the platform. So even when I go and check on the platform, it will come and say, a message comes to say that this is the size of the shirt or t-shirt that has been taken earlier, and customers wear this size and they actually give a large size. So I mean, it's to that extent that notification comes out and so personalized to tell me that, okay, this was the size which was taken earlier, and this is what you should be looking at, not medium. I mean, that's really personalized way of looking at things and notifications coming. So I think it's really gone beyond it. But
adding to your point again, it is more to do with in terms of how the attention, again, creating the awareness in terms of attention, which we try to create, like how the multiple information can groom as what is expected out of the customer engagement. That's what at the end of the day. And it's more of a context sensitive. Again, when you see in India, especially, we should be very clear at even the same age, like what type of engagement which can do thought of belief and behavior. Like it's more of a behavioral predictive information which try to get more in terms of connectivity, even resilient in terms of age. If you see person from 10 to 20 years old, 20 to 30 years old, 30 to 40 years old, again above, if you try to get engaged, it's more in terms of how we try to create and more deeply integrated with action enriched. Like, no, we can try to create as much as in terms of really real time. And again, it bounds to get that engagement, like the kind of expectation towards it. Again, if you ask me why it is happening, so far, touchwood, that digital is more focused on the corporate digital, where the people are focusing more on the stakeholders and the internal people. Now, the COVID and other things has made very clearly towards humanity to ensure corporate digital is moved from corporate towards the customer digital, where every individual customer is treated as corporate. So if that's what it's bloom around and the kind of smart information which is going to enough in terms of getting the real time and trying to get as much as responsiveness to the customer expectations. Back to you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. So, Mithun, if we come to it, what is it that you see as benefits of the smart notifications? Are there really some benefits attached to it, or it's just very superfluous in that manner?
So smart notification system. So as a SSC offering already, smart notification system, and we have built 100% serverless application for that, right? So our application is deployed on cloud itself, okay, and it has many benefits, right? To when we want to send notification to large customers, like for 1 crore customers, then there is a processing time and all those things we have to handle. So here, by using the cloud, we have introduced and used the parallel processing. That is the reason we are able to send uh, the concurrent request or concurrent notifications to end customers using multiple channels. And here, using cloud, we have so many benefits that we pay only what we use. We have serverless architecture, so we don't have to worry about the scalability, right? There is no maintenance required. There is no resource blocking. So there are many advantages at the company side as well as customer side. They are getting personalized notifications, and they that's overall benefit for both parties.
Okay, thanks. So Rohit, would you like to add further on this?
I think what Mithun has mentioned is absolutely to the T. Uh, it gives you immense scalability option, both in marketing as well as in reporting. So yeah, the business agility would improve with the kind of scalability smart notification brings in.
Okay, yes. Dr. Suresh, anything on your side on what the benefits are?
Yeah, it's again more to do with the timely. Again, it's very personalized and it is actionable. See, the actionable, why I'm mentioning in India, again, what happens is what majority business goes by feel and touch. That's where we are more used to. And the cultural ways also doing things like whether I can get a vehicle of my color, whether I can get a dress of my choice. No, that's the way it is. Like, no, it allows to choose the choice which we try to build part of the comfort. That's where it comes out very easy. And again, it is timely. Why I'm saying timely, it's like when you try to create as much as the relevant and right information, it should be more timely. Otherwise, what happens, even though you are giving the kind of behavioral towards that, whatever the preference towards expectation set part of the customer, if it's not delivered on time, then it is more going to be challenged. And even if you want to do a complaint and trying to get revert part of it, part of the system, then how it is effective, how timely it is coming, how the senior most person of that company is also looking at it, how those things are addressed. That's what it matters at the end of the day. And it's more personal. It creates as much as every individual, and trying to create as much as more clarity in terms of actionable items. So it matters a lot. Again, make it timely, personal, and actionable.
I agree with you. I think that's what we have also experienced it when we've seen such a solutions being there. They said it's hyper personalization. So it's like going to a real hyper extent of personalizing your communication messages to the end users, whatever may be, and to the complete customer journey. And that's how it's been looked at. Real-time dashboards. I mean, sometimes the solutions actually give you real-time dashboards, because if they're trying to come to you, customers or user coming to you through different channels, then you can have all of that inputted into one dashboard. So if someone's calling up or using a website and doing personal visits, all three can be coming into a one dashboard. So you can actually have a personalized dashboard for that person and you can see it. Plus, what we've actually noticed is there is dynamic of pricing and offers coming. So depending on how the facility is, I mean, you actually see it, and I know sometimes it's not very favorable, because you've seen that in hotel industry, it's really worked well, where you actually have been searching something and you get a notification that the price has dropped or something has dropped and you get an offer or something. But there have also been cases where in airlines, we've seen that the prices go up. The more you keep searching on the net and the prices keep going up. So both ways it has happened, but at least it's there that, those notifications have been able to communicate certain offers which have come in or certain benefits that have come to the end users. So we found that notifications actually help both the company to retain clients and to give a more personalized sort of an approach, and also to the end users, because they are getting benefits out of it. Their matters get addressed. So this is, I think, where the benefits of smart notifications come in. I'm not sure whether we still have Dr. Shyam or, okay, he's there. So Rohit, do you want to add something on it?
I would like to also say, Beirut, it is not, it's not a cup of tea, or it's not a piece of cake to push more than 10 lakh emails per hour. ACC, along with AWS, has been walking through this journey, developing things at the back end to see to the possibility of this happening.
Yeah.
It is not that it is a function which has been provided overnight. ACC is worked through it with AWS and created this facility, which is actually a breakthrough.
Okay. That's really important, because you can use, it's like what they say, mass communication, but more personalized mass communication. I think that's the thing which they
Not only more personalized mass communication along with real-time reporting, along with the kind of mass communication. If you must have noticed, you would be seeing all the kind of advertisements that have been emailed to you. Not all those advertisements have been pushed within an hour. You get my drift? It takes nearly about 12 to 13 hours for them to conclude at least 40 to 50 lakh emails. Over here, I'm talking about 10 emails in an hour. We are ready to, we are ready and equipped to send nearly about 30 to 36 or 40 crore emails a month.
Oh,
That's huge. That's a huge breakthrough.
it's a huge breakthrough. Yeah. And that's because of the digital and cloud facilities that are there.
That's because of the digital and cloud facilities. That's because I would not being biased, but I would actually say ACC and AWS have together cracked this out. We've developed a platform where this is possible.
Sorry, if I can just ask something further on this platform, can I just want to understand, when you said you've developed this platform, so the messaging is similar to all, or you can have different types of messaging going to different customers?
You can have different type of messaging going to different type of messaging going to different type of customers is not possible, because at one point in time you have to target X amount of numbers. So if I'm saying hi, I can say hi to 10 lakh customers. At the same time, on another system, I can say hello to another 10 lakh.
Okay.
Depending on what you want.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's the alterations are possible. Demand of having either a reporting message or a media message is possible for Beros, for anybody, for any company that comes in. Beros tells me, okay, fine, I need to send out hello to these many customers, and I need to say hi to these many customers. So we are equipped to do both for you.
Okay. And does it happen? Do I have to give that message, or does it come out from a system which says that, okay, based on this sort of a behavior, like Dr. Suresh was mentioning, based on a particular behavior, does it generate on its own, or is it to be human?
No, not based on particular behavior. It can be both. So suppose that has been tracked by another system. The behavioral activities has been tracked by another system. It's converted over here via the client. If suppose you tell me, okay, it's about your demand. It's about the company's demand and the requirement of the company. What does a company require to publish outside in that kind of bulk?
Okay.
That helps a company reach out to millions of the customers within no time.
Adding to his point, what we try to give it is more to improvise on customer service, which is to the geolocation of transaction and device. Means smart notifications can be tailored to the user locations. So when we try to use the multilingual and when we try to push it through similar things, it can be state bias, district bias, based on the end user, which they can take it and they can communicate to all. That's the way it is.
Okay.
It matters a lot. At the end of the day, the local message to the local people made the conversation through the collaboration tools.
Absolutely. And it matters a lot. There's no doubt. Yeah. So now we come to Mithun. What is omnichannel platform? So because would like to understand what is omnichannel as compared to multi-channel, which they keep speaking about, and how to set up an omnichannel platform for smart notifications.
So basically, as I already mentioned, this application, smart notification system, which SCC offers, that is 100% serverless, and to send different notifications such as email, might be SMS or push notifications are there, right? So we have used all cloud native services for that. For example, for email sending, we have used Amazon Web Services offering simple email service. For SMS notifications, we have used Amazon Pinpoint service, right? So to start with the setup and the setup of the channels, we need to configure those services first. Later on, to concurrently send those notifications, we may need to send 1 lakh emails or notifications in maybe 1 minute of time span according to our use case, right? So based on your use case, we can configure and provide rate limiter to those microservices. For this application, we have used cloud native service, that is Amazon Lambda functions, to create those services. Again, we have used event-based mechanism to trigger those notifications. Maybe if you are triggering email messages, then it might have some attachment. Attachment can be unique, can be common. So if it is unique, then we have to generate that document. We have to stick that document with that particular user and send it to end customer over the email. So all those workflows we have created using AWS Lambda functions and all other cloud native services such as Amazon SQS for queuing, SNS for getting the analytics back, right? If you are sending some emails, messages to end customer, if you are sending 1 lakh emails at the same time, then also we are retrieving analytics from them, from that service basically, and generating report whether that specific user has received that email. If he or she has received that email, whether he has opened or read that mail. If we have provided any link in that email, if user have clicked on that email, that kind of analytics we are fetching from that service using this application and generating the reports. That's basically, again, we have visualization tool for that, and user can actually view that specific campaign details over the dashboard.
Okay. Dr. Suresh, would you like to share on what is an omni-channel platform, and have you seen any? How does it set up?
Yeah, sure. In our case, all omni-channel experience will use multiple channels in terms of multiple channels or not omni-channel. No, that's where it is slightly contrast, where the amazing marketing and mobile we try to use in terms of social media campaigns, as well as the website. When you try to create, we try to use as much as on omni-channel experiences, which account for all the device and platforms. That's where the omni-channel is so powerful than multi-channels. When you try to bring out in specific, when you go rural India, specific to some vertical or specific to some particular product, then we try to use the multiple channel, not multi-channels, in terms of how to get engaged and try to use the strategy again, 2 or 3 channels, then try to use multi-channels. If you want almost all across the country, trying to board using that information through again AWS and Google and other kind of things, which is available part of it, then try to use the website, blog, and the Facebook, Twitter kind of other channels also, which creates more in terms of high availability and reachability. At the end of the day, you want to communicate faster and again to your vertical, your audience, especially when it comes to again banks. If you see a part of the financial services, we have more in terms of the customers, what really they need in terms of, we use something called loyalty customers. So when you try to create that loyalty customers, many others can even block them instantly the moment they see their longer information start flowing to them. So the customer who is really benefited, a customer who wants the demand, then the customer loyalty programs works for those customers, which we try to push it through omni channels and trying to ensure that we can provide more solutions or services that are useful in line with the user's personal needs. That's where it goes very clear cut in terms of omni channels. And again, omni channels, so far the success rate is what we are able to get the responses very highly in terms of the same getting engaged, or even if they get frustrated, the message reaches back to us. So that's why the omni channels are very powerful and trying to use it when we try to compare with multi-channels. Back to you, madam.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, what we also understand is like omni-channels, multi-channels, you have, of course, you have your SMS, your phones, your email, you have your website, and you have your social network, what you said. But if communications are flowing separately into all of these channels, which is like multi-channel communications, which is said. So omni-channel, what we also understand is like you can communicate on one, but through whichever channel you communicate, everything gets accumulated in one this. So just to give an example, supposing if I have a complaint against an organization, I call up the organization and try to make a complaint. And when I'm making a complaint, everything is noted down. So it goes through a particular dashboard to say, okay, this is what it is. Next time when I want something on it, I may not phone. I may just go on the web link or an email and do it. The information still remains with that organization. Okay, this is what is there. So you have the trail mails, you have everything which is there, and you have a dashboard which will show that this customer came through 3 different channels to make the same complaint, talk about the complaint, take forward the complaint, discuss on it and everything. And that's how the omnichannel works on. That is what our understanding also has been, that generally when you have this sort of omnichannel setups, through various channels, end user could come to you. And through various channels, you could go to the end user also. So it's not only from the end user perspective that is seen, but even from the organization perspective, you could use one omni-channel to really have all channels being mapped to it in that sense. And then you use whatever methods you want to reach the customer. And I think Dr. Suresh has really well articulated, and Mithun said about it, that it is becoming a requirement now that you need to have omni-channel presence, and that cloud has been facilitating all of this very helpfully. When I look at it to say from a e-commerce perspective, there's an e-commerce operator who uses emails very effectively. And when you compare that with another platform, which is more on entertainment, they are using email and a push notification. While if you look at another brewery company, which has been a coffee shops, they've been using apps, and they're using more of the app systems for the email and pushing. So we've actually noticed that various companies are using different types of channels to reach to the customers, and not just one channel which is being used. So maybe on that, is there anything further that you would like to add, Dr. Suresh, on how do you really, which sort of channels should you use further to reach customers? And how should you select a particular channel?
Yes, yes. No, instead of further, no, it's more to do with the business requirements in terms of new updates. What we want to keep on content with the customers, trying to use the new content release, like what are the product related, service related, solutions related. Again, the product offers. Suppose we see recently we had the Dasra festival. Now we have dictated some different product offers. Now we are coming out with the Diwali, which is again extending. Again, these are the specific to the products and the country level, and trying to even get the order stated updates, like what type of orders we try to do it. It's a two-way like engagements in terms of how we can make it, or even try to bring more benefits in terms of the kind of one-click subscription, two-click subscription. That's nothing but the people can use the ratings, people can try to communicate with our ads, how fast we are able to delivering it, how fast we are able to keep the social engagement to make it live, and trying to create a reality results. Now that's what at the end of the day, customer trying to create it. Okay, you start with an email or mobile or an IoT, but trying to create as much as in terms of more the checkout process, unwanted confusions, like no product, something is communicated, something is put in ad, whether how you are trying to take it up. If you say though din mein badle din, within 2 days you'll get your disbursement across it. It's a commitment from the bank to ensure that the disbursements made across, and the customer gets it and he puts his feedback to say, yes, I got it within 2 days. I got my query addressed, and even the owner of the company can see that, and owner of the company can put his comments. It goes to that extent. It starts with a normal, what you say, the people who are engaged and the entities involved in the task, and it ends with the owner who is also putting his vision and trying to put his comments, which can be available part of Twitter or something else, which is more 24/7 transparent, and it enables us the customer to get some confidence. Even the corporate seniors also responding to this and trying to get engaged with the customer requirements. And that's where it's a ongoing process. It gives more visibility. It gives more in terms of transparency and trying to be simple. Again, what happens today nowadays, no, the communications get as much. You can see so many chatbots are available, but how much physically people try to respond and trying to take it up. It makes more in terms of simple and an effective brand message. That's what at the end of the day it tries to deliver it, and more personalized, but as much as more into an e-business. Again, I'm mentioning less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions, how the emotions are captured towards the system and trying to be more available for other customers also. At the end of the day, it matters a lot.
Sure. So Rohit, do you want to add something on your product as to how is it that you would be differentiating, like say he mentioned about Dussehra and Diwali and all of that. So is your product capable of scaling up to that level and making those changes happen?
Sure, it is. I think, like I said in the previous comment as well, that personalization to all our customers is possible. So yes, that's one thing. What you're saying is true. That scalability, even when offerings in the seasons greetings have been offered by the customers, by the companies to their customers. Yes, this is possible.
Sure. Mithun, you want to add something here or should we discuss? I don't know whether the other panelists have joined in now. I can't see, maybe. So let's carry on. I think they've still not been able to join in. So we come to now to say that we've seen different channels of smart communications which are there. Like we've talked about social media, we've talked about phones, emails, SMSs, all of that, personal and online and offline both. Now, how do we actually look at organization managed notification across different devices? So how do you do that and how do you ensure data privacy? I mean, data is always very sacrosanct to most people. So then how do you take care of the data security when you're doing it through different devices which are there? Rohit, would you like to take it forward? Okay.
Smart notifications, sending smart notifications through different devices, that's actually the other way around. Smart notifications received by different devices would be a proper way to look at it, because it's been sent from one point to millions. So on whichever device you look at it, it's it's accessible to whichever devices, because it comes as a plain email to you or plain notification to you. So yes, security is not a concern over here because it's well secured. AWS looks into that it has been secured before we send it to you. And any device receiving it, like I said, would not be a problem on your cell phones, on your laptops, or any kind of electronic device which you use is
something that you send
yeah.
on email. Sorry,
Yeah,
something that you send on email, but something that you send on an app, or you send by SMS, or you send on a WhatsApp message, could be on different devices which are there of people. So it doesn't make a difference in that sense.
No. I mean, web push notifications are communications message sent to a user through desktop, web or mobile web, desktop push notification, mobile apps. It's been sent through a particular point from any kind of desktop to all the other devices.
Sorry, if I can just add one more question here. Sorry. So when we receive all those birthday messages coming in from banks, mutual funds, before our relations wishes us birthday, the birthday message come from mutual funds and banks and all of that. So
Those are
supposed to be more secure because they are telling you birthday. That means everyone knows it's your date of birth, which is a very personal
those are
data.
different. Those are different type of messages. Those are different type of notifications. Those are not those are how would I put it? You don't need to have a 10 lakh email pushed for your birthday or for for that date.
For that
As a
date.
birthday as a birthday message. Maybe a bank would have say 1,000 going in.
Okay.
So a birthday message is a different thing where if I want to say, if I'm a bank or a media institution, and if I want to push in, I want to push in a message for an investment plan or a new app that I'm building, I want that to reach millions of people as soon as possible. The faster it reaches them, the faster it, the faster I get the agility done. So that's where we are coming from as far as this notification is concerned. Birthday messages are something different.
Okay. Okay, fine. So, Dr. Suresh, what do you say on this? On multiple devices, are there any security risk attached to it?
See, I would say beyond security, it is more to do with the kind of our objectives. See what notification aren't like other panelists told. It's more to do with useful to boost short-term open rates. Means also we considered something for a long-term user engagement and retention strategy. It's more to do with people who like my product, services, solutions. We would like to connect and we would like to collaborate with them for a long term. Consider even whether you want to do some push notifications or the best option for achieving our objectives. We try to create more in terms of an app message or a mail, which can be through other better channels. But in Indian context, what we are trying to say mostly is what we sending same message through multiple channels. It should not frustrate the customer. That's where the real choke. If you see the same message coming through all channels, generally puts into that. That's where instead of security, you should have some system. What's that your objective? Why we are doing it? What type of best practice we can do it? What can get started for the customer trying to take it up? Segment of our users into appropriate categories based on our objectives. Again, when you deal with a farmer, like how we are trying to do that. When you deal with a transporter, like no, these are the segments which we try to create in terms of the behavioral things which goes common across India when you try to collaborate with them in terms of channels. Again, make sure we provide users with the benefit of opting into the notification, meaning you should request for that. For example, what we do in terms of messaging, instead of birthday message, every day I'll send something called an astrological message. I'll send to him saying like, being an Kanya star, you will get your money back, which will go based on the stars to every customer on a daily basis. So where the customer will require a request for something more is required, because it is only giving only a message which is one liner. But if you see from the system point of view, it is more of positive message into 7 years, where you can try to get that customer particular paying date, not even birth date. With that, we are trying to post to the customer and trying to get out of it. So when you say an astrological message, it's a belief. Again, people try to believe and trying to follow that, especially the transporters have strong belief on that. They go by the timings also, what time they can start for the day, everything. So such messages get connect to them, trying to get more into that and create a relevant notification. That's what it's again more on that. Consider using as much as Firebase, we got positive vibes. That's what it's at the end of the day, how we can collaborate with them, enable them for our kind of business and product services. Keep the touch base. Again, feel and touch is again, I have said, more to do with why it works and what type of objectives we are trying to achieve in terms of customer who is engaged with us for our products. We take even a line of action, automobile. The set of customers who belongs to Maruti has a different style of operations, different style of patterns. Again, you go to Mahindra. Again, Mahindra has a set of options and set of, again, passion from the end customers. Again, go to Tata. Again, people have that set of thing which you can't change. Even they might change temporarily, but they will go back to that. Their comfort zone is a mindset which they try to give and take as much as part of the share and care model, which comes part of the company culture, going with them for a long term. So if your objectives are with that and trying to send bulk messages to them, which is matching with both the protocols, it's more positive. Then the customer engagement comes more, and all the channels when you're trying to utilize through that, he feels happy because somewhere he is trying to get collaborated with you for a long term, and that is what which you are trying to use it. And when you try to make it more in terms of best practices, what we say, like it's more to focus on the actionable, try to use as much personalization, take the time day in day out into that account, personal account. To go in banking, you know, the personal account manager generally plays a lot in that. That role gets more engagement and the customer continue to be with you for a long, because the kind of competition is outside. The kind of products what we do, how much it is trying to tailor make for the end user. That's where these channels work fine, more effective and efficient to get channelized with the customers. Even though you're physically not available to them, these channels keep you alert and your brand in their minds all the time. That's what you know, your customer generally arrived out of similar things to go closer to them, get engaged with them, trying to deliver the information what they want, rather than it's not getting frustrated when he sees the message and how to get engaged with them. Back to you, madam.
Good, but I think what we are learning out of it is every sector, whether it's banking or transportation or even the lorry drivers, everyone appreciates having relevant communications coming to them.
Yes.
You don't have to frustrate them, but every sector requires smart communication. That's it. So it should be relevant to that person who's receiving it.
Every gender, adding to your point, every age group has it specifically, and they would like to have it. If you see the kind of daily messages nowadays you can see in WhatsApp is maximum full, because of similar kind of things are more emotionally connected with the people, and some people even wish to see the divine places, wish to see the divine messages. That's the way it is seen. So it's more to do with the religion, more to do with the region, more to do with your sector, segment. But at the end of the day, how you are connected, how you are live with the customer and the corporate, trying to bridge using similar notifications could be smart, and trying to get engaged with them for a long time. Back to you.
So I think Mithun had mentioned about analytics, data and analytics to be used more efficiently in the form of smart actionables for the end user. So how is it that you really work on it? Mithun, you want to elaborate further on that, because you just touched upon analytics, which is there. So how is it, how does your product or the smart solution that you have really works on the analytics which is done?
Yeah, ma'am. So here when any customer or for any use case, when customers host any campaign for specific age group or for specific targeted area, right? Maybe region or language specific, right? So the sender, if you are sending the emails, then sender wanted to know if that message is really reached to the end customer, right? End customer. And if that is reached, then if that specific customer is interested in that offer, whatever we are sending, right? We are basically hosting campaign. And if she or he is interested, then they can generate lead out of it. And actually, if they are spending X amount on the campaigns, right? They wanted to know what are the results out of it based on those analytics reports. So that is the reason those analytics reports plus those visualization dashboards are more important for the client. Every client who wanted such information back to store in their system, or they just wanted to have a look at that specific transaction. Yeah.
Sure. So Rohit, do you want to add something on this as what Mithun has mentioned?
No, I think he's summarized it as a whole.
Okay, sure. Dr. Suresh, your take on data and analytics?
See, again, this oil should come from data analytics. Again, otherwise engaging with the customer will go wrong. Means like if it's a thin line between the compliance and the service. That's the way it is. Like now, even a small over emotional will go on the other side of it. So the authentic information is very important, and we call it like more in terms of tested and proven data with the analytics, which generally goes very high. And my research part is more on that, where how Indians, especially the behavioral part, works part of the business, how they try to contribute, especially on that. Where if you see the information which we collect from the customers, if like go through Facebook, everywhere people show only the positives. You get only the likes. You never see the negatives. You never see the dislikes. So it's not so easy to go with only the positives and likes. So we should know the other side of it. That's what the real analytics works more in terms of what all the real causes for similar things. Or even a community could fail, even a religion could fail, even a relatively region can fail. Those are the things which will give more in terms of information, which is very, very authentic. It sometimes goes even beyond ancestors. Like no, it's more than 7-8 generations. You have to have more informative, which matters a lot. At the end of the day, you try to deal with emotions, especially emotions is not an easy factor. It matters a lot. It keeps on changing. It again has a determined as per the environment, which keeps on, we call it as cooked information. Means it is cooked over a period of time. It's not so easy to see as an authentic information. So until you don't have proper channels, proper even ways to capture the information, the analytics is going to matter a lot. But again, the basics of such a more smart, if you see the kind of notifications, purely depend on the emotions which you capture through the proper interface and ensures the data which is authentic, substituted by the supporting which is realistic and relevant. Then it matters a lot when you go closer to the customers.
Absolutely. I agree with you. And when we did some sort of research and study, we also found that 22% of the customers are willing to share some data to get some personalized communications on products and services. So very few, because others generally people don't have the time to fill up surveys and all of that. But some people do fill it up to say that, okay, this is the reason why we are giving you some information so that we can get more personalized services and products coming in. So you do have such cases, and like Rohit and Mithun mentioned, you can make out which email you're reading and you're not reading. When you delete it, immediately you come to know, because there's several emails that you get during the day, and so many times without opening also you delete it. At least the notification is there and you can really make an analysis out of it to say how many opened the link, how many did not open the link, what was relevant for them and at what age group. If you have the age groups also, that is very important. Like you mentioned, sometimes we've seen that people who are in the age of 55 and above are more closer to having personalized communication as compared to the younger generation who's fine with the online communications which are there. So all that really matters when we're doing smart communications. So when we've seen a lot of benefits out of it, and we've seen how it is set up, and what are the channels which are there for smart communications to be taken care. What are the challenges which are there basically when you're looking at smart communication? So should we start with Dr. Suresh on that, as to what you believe are the challenges on smart communication?
Challenge is basically the kind of study what we make part of it, and the kind of corporate generally have some strategy like how to acquire the customers, means how to retain the customers and the period set for them. Then it starts with the product, what type of products for the company's future, and the solutions, what we try to make it part of the service. That's where the real strategy works part of it. So until those things are not clear, or those things are not properly tested at that is deployed, that's where the real frustration comes from all the communications. Suppose you take a strategy like recently we found even within our company, maximum mails deleted without reading is from the IT people delete more mails without reading. That's a strategy, because they read only their boss's mails and their work. Beyond that, they don't even want to see the corporate mails, corporate information. But if you see, the corporate information was maximum utilized by the people who are in outskirts, who don't have even access to mails. They take time to download and use it. They see all the mails. They do read all the mails. So if you see the strategy is what, it's very clear where that information is required, who requests that more information. That's where the real challenge comes when it's for collaboration. When it comes to our products, again, we have to be very precise to see how we can connect to see that. That's where the data analytics, when you said the interfaces capturing that information should fetch us exactly what is required from the other end, and what kind of things also continuously we should keep on changing and upgrade to the latest. Again, that's where the real challenge comes out. It's not so easy to maintain an emotion like once upon a time somebody farmer behaved like this, don't expect the same from him. And the shocking news is what rural people know better than the urban people, because urban people work with the real life, so they take with all the emotions. They even open all mails and send a read message to us. But the rural people see very less message, but the read message who comes, they have read it really. That's the way it is. So the real message, the reality are the challenges which generally hardly get from the people, because again, I said in social, people would want to show only the positives. They work for something of a money, something of a character, but not something of an reality which is trying to prove it. So a real reality is a big challenge here in terms of identifying and trying to scaling it up and trying to depend the strategies, how companies trying to put it out. So part of the research, that's what we try to do, is what we generally build even similar messages with the kind of responses which we try to keep on changing. Earlier it's only a read message, now read message and can we give a feedback. Even we in between send some frustrating mails, so that we want the person to even say, no, I don't want this message. That's a message expected out of it. So that much we have to get extended so that we can see in reality how it works. Similar things goes it out, rather than a person who is silent, not responding to that. That's a very, very dangerous, and that's where the challenge comes in, where we might get out into something else, which part of the skills, which generally is a big, big challenge for us when you depend on similar emotional kind of thing, which try to make it part of the smart notification. Back to you, madam.
Correct. Yeah. Thank you. So Rohit, Have you seen challenges on smart solutions, and what are the challenges? So what is it that you are looking to improve on the solution, basically?
Sure. What Dr. Shan said is very correct. I'll put it in this way, that the content is the challenge in smart notification. Our content is really the crux, because once how do I put it? Once you've identified the content, you can have the conversation easier for a person to read, for a person to understand. So otherwise, I believe maximum challenge for a smart notification tech wise has been already handled by AWS and ACC. So we've just left with the content being as a challenge for us.
Content being as well.
Yeah.
Mithun, do you want to add something on that?
So yes, ma'am. So technically speaking, if you have the right data of the customer, for example, if you have the right email address and basically source data, then we don't have that much challenges. But if you have the incorrect data, that will create few technical challenges, like we may increase the bounce rate of the service, that may cause, ISP may request to shut down our email sending service. That kind of challenges we can face if we don't have the right data source or customer data.
Sure. So whenever we talk about any solution, and it's always attached, a cost is attached to it. So I mean, presently we may be doing in some particular manner, which has a particular X cost. And if I put a solution like this, it could become X plus whatever the number could be. So how do you suggest that, a person should evaluate a solution like this? And what is it that he should really look at? So what is his business metrics? What is I'm trying to find out is that doesn't make sense. Anyone who is going to buy a solution, paisa milna chahiye. So is it saving cost to me by doing this sort of efforts, or what is it? Is it really expanding my expenses?
So as I already said that this solution we have deployed on cloud using AWS native services, right? And all services are managed for this application, and we only pay what we use, right? So if I want to send X amount of X number of emails in particular, maybe 1,000 emails per second, then that kind of infrastructure I just need to select, right? And for that infrastructure, I pay only what I use. If I'm sending only 10 lakh emails, then I'm only paying for that cost. I'm not paying for what I have provisioned, right? So this is really a pay-as-you-go model, and this is really cost effective.
Okay.
It's not burning your cost. Servers are running, and if we are not using, then it is incurring cost to us. This is not the case with this application.
So you're saving on the hardware cost of it and the people cost of it, and all of that is being saved.
Right.
Okay. Dr. Shan, from your perspective, how do you measure value to a cost which is there?
Madam, it's so simple. It's more to do with the stake. Create the stake. Like suppose, for example, I'll give two scenarios you can see. One from the internal, same whatever you call it as people spread across. Tell them your bonus related information is already sent through smart notification. Almost all 35,000, irrespective of the level, age, gender, even Pune sees the message and gives the confirmation because it is his bonus. Okay, so a stake which is inbuilt, people can see irrespective of connectivity, electricity, and resource availability in the last mile. He takes the training and he sees the message. Okay, it's for internal. Again, external. External are like being a financial services, or when you're trying to focus more in terms of customer, don't do only business with them for just a loan or one-time purpose. Create something called a thought process in terms of a research made to create something called community cloud, which is nothing but it will create them to earn to pay. We will make them to earn so that they can pay for us. Then what matters or what makes him not to use the system, irrespective of, again, same I'm saying, connectivity, language problem, and with whatever resource on that. Create the stake, use the technology, give it to them what they want, and trying to build and trying to create that stake. They are ready to pay even whatever they want. For example, if somebody is having a kirana shop in a village, you want to ensure like what all the other products can make part of the kirana shop so that it can leverage the business. Every day he gets out of business of 8,000, try to build more than 20, 25,000, then that lands up in your business. The same way somebody has a buffalo, takes a loan for it, and the milk products, whatever he is going to use part of it, trying to use a community cloud, put the local person who knows how to use the system, they can be guided towards that, and trying to build as much as using the milk products and ensure that the business executes part of it. That's the way it is called earn to pay model. So it's a community cloud, which is available part of it. So people didn't even bother to take it up. They directly come inside, they try to use the information, they're trying to download from the phones, which speaks only in multilingual. So it's purely create the stake. If stake is there, anybody would like to do it, irrespective of it. It's more to do with like what we look for them rather than what you look for yourself.
Correct. And that always works. In every organization that works. Instead of selling what we have, if we find out what they are more interested in, it always works to that. So thank you. I think if we can just summarize this, maybe the last one-liner of how we want to look at smart communications or how people should look at smart communication, participants could. We haven't got any questions as yet. We haven't got any questions on the chat box or the.
We have a set of 3 questions for Mithun Beros.
Yeah, sure.
You want to take it now?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, so Mithun, this is for you. It says, how do you achieve sending mass email or notification through AWS? What services are used to achieve this?
So, sir, for this, we have created microservices, right? First of all, we need to get the data, right? If I want to send mass emails for 10 lakh customers, then 10 lakh customers data they can provide us using maybe using providing access to their source database, or they can provide us the raw data file with all the information. So based on that raw data file, we do iteration and basically trigger the concurrent microservices asynchronously. So for each customer, we are executing multiple services, and those services at the end hitting the AWS services for maybe for sending emails, for sending notification, and based on that, we are completing the transaction.
Thank you for that, Mithun. Just checking, we have Beros. Have you finished asking your questions, or you have some more?
We have finished. Okay, we can just summarize it from our side.
Yes,
basically, whenever we look at smart communications, we look at the strategy, the way he mentioned. We look at the different channels which are there, and of course, we also look at the business metrics, because it should give some sort of it should be measurable in some way, whether it's value, money, whichever way. So every smart communication should have these 3 things. You have to have your strategy. What is your customer content which you want to share? Your strategy on communications, your channels that you want, and your business metrics. So that's how we would summarize on the smart communications. Dr. Suresh, would you like to summarize on smart communications?
I would stick to my the starting word to say in India, e-business is less to do with electronics, more to do with emotions. If you categorize that, then that's what we are looking for, and surely we will have positives on that, and we can reach what best we are good. And again, in India, reach and speed is going to be the mantra for all the retail business. So both the things require smart notification to be on field and to make us to keep on competing for a long term. Back to you.
Thank you. Rohit?
So I would like to summarize by saying smart notification. Today, our solution is the most effective, cost-effective, real-time updations, and one of the most agile notifications that is there in the market today.
I think so. Mainly, it's scalable and it's agility.
True. And over the top of it, it's really cost-effective.
Cost-effective.
Yes.
Right.
How would I send it? Sending 10,000 emails will cost you less than a cent. Less than a cent is good.
Absolutely. So is there a minimum number that you have to have for working on your product? Do you have to have 10,000? Do you have to have 10 lakhs? Do you have to have 1,000? So what is the minimum
See,
that
otherwise, if there's no minimum or there's no maximum, Otherwise, what would be the point if you wouldn't want to scale it? This particular notification has no limits as such. As less as possible, as high as possible you want. That's the actual beauty of it.
Yeah.
Not only that you can send least amount of, but you can just, whatever vague number that comes to your mind, how much ever. If you want to globally tap this, we'll globally tap this for you.
Okay. There's a one-time setup cost for it, or it's anytime person can come and use it?
Well, there's a one-time setup as well as pay, as Mithun mentioned, pay as you go.
Yes.
So yeah, there are both types. Cost involvement is there, but when you segregate it, it's actually coming to 1 cent an email kinds of cost.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mithun, any last words on this, on summarizing it, on smart
So,
notifications?
Rohit already summarized all the points, but for scalability, for agility, right? If you have current customer base is 1 lakh, and later on, if you maybe after 6 months, if you have 10 lakhs, then you don't have to make any change to your application. This application will work as it is. We already deployed this application for many customers. There is no scalability issue just because we have used all the serverless stuff over there. That's it. I mean, we don't have to worry about the later and your client base while selecting this application.
The data sits with you or data sits with us when we use the application?
Yes, so we deploy the solution in your AWS account, and your data sets this application is going to use.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry. I was
So
just,
this application will be in your environment. Yeah.
it will be in our environment. Okay.
Yeah.
That's it. So I think, Fraser, we have summarized all our points and we are fine. So you can ask any further questions to Mithun, Rohit, Dr. Shan. Thank you so much for all your time, and it was very interesting interacting with all of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Kamden, for so flawlessly weaving together that discussion. Truly amazing takeaways from that chat for our audience. And with that, we bring today's session to a close. Today's session would not have been a success without the active participation of all our esteemed speakers and delegates. I would like to thank each one of you for taking your time out and being a part of this virtual roundtable today. A special thanks to Amazon Web Services and Applied Cloud Computing for their support to this initiative, without whom this conference wouldn't have been possible. Thank you once again, ladies and gentlemen. It was great to be in your company this evening. Take care, everyone, and stay safe.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all for your
Thank you.
time.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Dr. Shan. Thank you, Fraser. Thank you, Beros. Have a wonderful evening.
Yeah, same to you. Nice time.
Bye-bye.
Goodbye.